What if an ideal family life is just a mask and lies? Distrust and resentment are hidden behind the impeccable facades of happy faces. And can the truth, told directly to the face, save such a family? Dismemberment Park or Happy Land is a manga authored by Honda Shane, a mangaka who creates stories mainly in the horror genre. And this is not his only work that will appear on this channel. I will not delay and will immediately proceed to the retelling, but before that, I will ask you to support my channel with a like and a subscription if you like the video. So, ladies and gentlemen,
welcome to the Dismemberment Park.
As often happens, the first pages of the manga show us something of what will happen next. We see the blood of a man who claims that he is a bad father of a man with a rabbit's head and mutilated corpses. After a few pages, mangaka takes us back just 3 hours to this picture. We see a car and an idol of about a family. So, let's get acquainted with our main characters, the family of Kon, Kenzie father, he is 39 years old. Misa is mom, 39 years old. Ritsu is the eldest son of 16 years old. Rin is the youngest daughter of 13 years old. The father decided to surprise his family and take them to some incredible place. In the car, family members shower each other with compliments. Mom says that dad is great because he was able to buy a house at the age of 39. And he was also able to get such a beautiful wife like her. The daughter, and then everyone else, admire the fact that smart Risio got into the top 5 in school on tests. In general, the author shows us what a good family they are and how much they love each other. And then our heroes get lost. An unknown road leads them to the threshold of the happy land of the amusement park. Candy, the father, doesn't remember where he was actually going to take the family, but it doesn't matter anymore. Evening jumped out of the car and already ran up to the park. The family decides to stay and have some fun. A man in a rabbit costume immediately approaches them, introduces himself as the manager of a happy land, and says that everything in this amusement park is free. He emphasizes that everything is free because the purpose of the park is to give visitors unfettered happiness. Kenzie feels that something is wrong. It is strange to him that such a large and beautiful park functions for free. Ritsu shows that he fumbles not only in his studies, but also in Chinese marketing, saying that most likely there is an expensive restaurant or advertising. In general, something that will still allow you to profit from the park. While the family is discussing this incredible place, Rin has already joined the queue for the American races. The first visitors have already gone on a journey. Everyone looks up to see how those who have had time are having fun, but instead they see a rain of severed heads. Then the manager with the rabbit's head comes up, raises one of the heads, and says, "Don't be afraid. Enjoy, be yourself, and nothing will happen to you." Panic began. Families rushed to where Kenzie froze, also realizing that he had to act. He pays attention to his daughter, who was in the queue, and realizes that she can't leave her anymore. Now they are separated by an iron fence. While the father is trying to think of a way out of the situation, other families have almost reached the exit. But then the music started playing, and the exit was blocked by fabulous creatures of gigantic size, who began to kill everyone who tried to escape. The dumbfounded Kenzie is trying to figure out how, having got lost, they got into this place at all. Who are these creatures, and what is going on here? The exit is closed by an iron gate. The manager again addresses the families with the words that their motto is to give unfettered happiness. And for this you need to have fun on the rides. So, it's time for the first one, and it's a roller coaster. Together with different families, Rin gets on the roller coaster. Someone begins to arise, so that at least his wife and child are released. This man's head was immediately divided into 2 halves by a giant pig. My daughter can't be helped anymore. When the slides turn on, the manager tells them, "Be yourself and enjoy the ride." Kenzie hears these words. The slides have come into action, but people are not having fun. The video focuses on this, saying that the fact that they act as usual indicates that they are bored, and includes a certain cry of truth mode. Having turned on the intelligence, Candy begins to analyze the situation. He runs behind the booths and shouts to his daughter to throw up her hands, as people do on a roller coaster. As soon as Rin does this, all the other skaters lose their fingers due to the appearance of small chainsaws in the part of the insurance, where everyone held their hands. But this is not the end. A giant circular saw appears, and the manager says that he wants to hear the cry of truth, and that only those who show what he really is will be able to survive. The head of the Komi family again understands what needs to be done. Rin needs to shout her secret out loud. Misa doesn't understand what kind of nonsense Candy started talking. Rin listened to the whole park, saying that she has a daddy. A bloody scene. The saw blows everyone's head off, but the daughter survives. Returning to the family, they begin to question her. In short, she meets rich people and goes on dates, getting paid for it. The mother, Misa, breaks down on her daughter because she is only 13 years old. The daughter, who has experienced a strong shock, begins to scream so that they stop protecting her, especially in the conditions that they are unlikely to survive at all. She says that the family doesn't need her anyway because no one even thought of taking her place on the roller coaster. And then he makes a lunge towards the person that the family is supposedly more worried about, the eldest son. The gallant manager immediately intervenes, who declares that it is not necessary to take someone's place on the rides, because one way or another, everyone will ride today. Then he asks everyone to have fun until the end, because only one family can come back. And then he adds publicly that all the other visitors will die. You all came here of your own free will, he declares. Therefore, you will regret it if you do not have fun to the end. The next attraction is cups. One family member for one cup. Rin encourages Ritsu to take a ride. This triggers the mother. Then the younger one begins to complain that the older brother is always treated in a special way. He was paid for various courses, he was sent to a private school, when the youngest was forced to go to a regular one. In the flashback, Rin also complains about the same thing to her mom, who is washing dishes. Misa says that their family has no money to pay for the education of 2 children, and in general, she studies worse than her older brother. In the present, Rin asks if that's the case, then what's wrong with dating a rich uncle who will shower her with yuan? With these words, she earned a slap in the face from her mother. After the blow, Misa declares that children are loved equally. Kenzie asks them to stop. Then, the mother switches to her husband, saying that what is happening is entirely his fault. In fact, here all the families begin to quarrel with each other. Then, the manager declares that the difficulty of the attraction will increase and asks to hurry up. In addition to this, he says that anyone who does not want to participate will be killed on the spot. Misa tries to protect her son, but Ritsu calls himself. He sits down at the cup and takes the steering wheel. The steering wheel is located above some kind of container, which begins to gain boiling liquid-like oil to the very edges. The liquid is poured to the brim, so with the slightest shaking, it can spill and get on a person. We are shown how it spills over other people, leaving the consequences as if from boiling lava. One guy realized that he needed to give out his secret and screams that he has 10 terabytes of hentai manga on his computer. For the rest of the family, this is far from a secret, which was a revelation for him. Then a large teapot poured a similar liquid on his head. The teapot pours the liquid on others a little at a time, greatly reducing the number of participants. When the manager asks to give out a cry of truth, people begin to confess their secrets of treason, money frauds, and so on. Candy tells Ritz to quickly give out his secret, but the eldest son remains silent. Then the father realizes that Ritsu is an exemplary son, and he most likely has no secrets, and in this case he will not be saved. Half a minute before the end of the cup accelerates, and the boiling liquid falls on the hand of the older brother. The mother confesses to her father that, although he did not know, Ritsu initially studied poorly in elementary school. And perhaps his secret is that the guy cheats on the test. But like his daughters, Ritz also has something to surprise his parents with, and he finally admits, "I'm dating my English teacher." Ritsu and 4 other people survive. In joy, a man beats his wife. Okay, that's 4 admitting to cheating. Misa is happy that her son survived, but Rome is trying to create a dialogue on the topic of Ritsu and the teacher, saying that he is no different from her. The mother refuses to believe it, but Ritsu decided to finally close this topic. He says, "I don't care that she's older than me. I love her." Kenzie tries to get involved in this dialogue, but Ritsu insults him, saying that he does not want to become like him, and in general does not even consider him his father, because he did not do anything for which he could be respected. Misa is trying to return to the topic of Ritsu and the teacher. In short, you can't love an old woman, and in general your dream is to become a lawyer. Ritsu replies that the dream of becoming a lawyer is not his, but his mother herself. And now he will graduate from school and go abroad with a teacher. In his short flashback, he is a young man who has no friends. The school was given out to him by his mother, and she did not suit him. But then he met the teacher, and everything started spinning. The mother explodes, shouting that she will complain about the teacher to all authorities and make sure that they never meet again. Kenzie swallowed his tongue, realizing that he knew nothing about his children. Meanwhile, the manager suggests taking a break. They set the table. It looks beautiful, but Kenzie asks the others not to eat because the food may be poisoned. Ritz is already starting to try it with the words that they are unlikely to be killed so easily, that is, not on the rides. When everyone has eaten, the chef pig comes and shows that what they have eaten is a rabbit roast. We see the body of a person with a separated head and the head or mask of a rabbit. Everyone is in shock. The manager appears and calms them down, saying that it is not him, but the previous manager, and he himself is alive and well. He also says that their appearance here was inevitable and suggests continuing. The truth about the inevitability makes Misa ask out loud if Kenzie really knew where they were going. The father of the family denies, but understands that he does not really remember where he was actually going to lead his family initially. Misa begins to pour that it's all because of him and says that she made a mistake by choosing him as her husband. Kenzie doesn't want to discuss it in front of the children, but the dam can't be restored so quickly. And Misa begins to make a scandal that he personally didn't do anything for the children when she was doing them all this time. Then Candy can't stand it either, and shouts that he actually has a full-fledged job. Misa retorts that in addition to farming, she also has a side job. Then she admits that other moms are making fun of her because they couldn't send their daughter to a normal school. "Weren't you the one who said recently that I'm good because I was able to buy a house by my 40s? Candy asks, but the answer killed him. It was irony, and other moms laugh at her. Misa wanted an apartment in Tokyo, and he bought a house outside of the main areas of Tokyo. The next revelation, she chose Kenzie because she wanted stability in the family and says that they need to divorce. The father recalls the happy moments of the past, realizing that all this time they were not a real family. Then the rabbit intervenes, admiring how the true essence manifests itself in each family, and offers to continue to confess at the next attraction. For this competition, the manager himself gave the participants simple rules to finish in the top 3 in karting. All others will be undermined. The race has begun. One of the men guesses that if he throws everyone on the track, he will definitely win. But instead, Misa herself knocks him off the road. Promising to kill her, the man makes his first confession and gets a weapon hidden in the map. He first kills a race participant who has a pregnant wife, then attacks the child. The boy also makes a confession and gets a weapon, but the husband has so many sins that it is enough to create a whole Gundam. Therefore, continuing to confess to monstrous things, he also gets saws with which he kills the child, killing the others and confessing, thereby pumping your cards. The man catches up with Misa. Kenzie shouts for his wife to give up her secret. He cheers her on, shouting that no matter what, they were happily married and the whole family should return. Misa confesses to Rin and Ritsu that they are not his children. In Mrs. Flashback, a certain handsome man approaches her, who is interested in a woman, but who introduces her to his friend with a point named Candy. He introduced them, but still regularly had intercourse with Misa. After the last act, he says that everything was great and in general he goes on a trip, so he drops out of both her and college. Then Misa resorts to her plan B and admits that she likes Komi. In the following frames, a little Ritsu has already been born, and then Missy again receives a text message from this guy that he is in town and missed. Misa is not going to repeat the same mistake, but apparently she made it because Rin is not Candy's daughter either. From this confession, she gets something like Mechanical Kagan's and Kaneki Ken, who destroys that man's car. He is finished because he is immediately demolished by some kind of mechanical knives by a passing grandfather. Riksu is glad that he is not the son of such a boring person as Kenzie. Meanwhile, Miss screams, "I just wanted to get the best genes to finish in the top 3. All the other losers' cards explode along with the drivers. The manager congratulates the winners. We give it to them that they are bastards. Then a certain handsome man from his bride approaches Candy. His name is Hayaragi, he is his friend from school and part-time real father of children. We understand this right away, as Misa grabs him and says that he promised not to come to her again. Haragi claims that he came up to look at his friend and his children, but he himself does not know how he ended up in this park. So the meeting is just a coincidence. Haragi believes that everything that happens here is a conspiracy against himself, since he and his wife are politicians. Then Misa catches tilt, because she gave up her dream of Hayaragi, because he seemed to be an unreliable person, who dropped out of college and went on a trip. And it turned out that now he is a politician. Meanwhile, a former lover offers the family to run away, and if you run away, you will be killed. They answer that if they stay, they will also die. He also assumes that everything that happens here is a massacre, staged for the sake of the show, so that the rich can enjoy the view of the massacre. The manager appears, who declares that there are only 2 rides left, and that the number of participants has greatly decreased. Hiragi and his wife, as well as the Komi family, are trying to escape. Instead of leaving, they choose to hide in the building. Hiragi uses a hair clip to pick the lock. Critical luck, the door opens, the children are delighted. Everyone goes inside. The future politician says that as soon as they manage to escape, they will leave together in Candy's car. Turning around, the men realize that their families have disappeared somewhere. The next thing they see is that there is a mutilated nurse inside some hospital in front of their eyes, who immediately rushes at them with a syringe filled with some kind of liquid. They try to escape and see a man who has already received his injection. His skin turned red, covered with veins, his body began to swell, and then blood sprayed from all the holes. They see the mutilated nurses attacking the rest of the people. In general, they tried to escape, but ran to the next attraction. The haunted house, the fighting quarter. This is reported by the manager who appeared on the monitors, and he also announces the rules of the game. To survive for the next 60 minutes. Kenzie screams, asking where his family is. The manager shows that they are all right. Hiragi notices that his fiancée is not with them. He asks Kenzie to help because he wants to protect her. And in the family room, the face expresses to Rin a guess that he and Hiragi are similar, and asks the mother to tell who their real father is. In search of Kyoko, Kenzie and Hiragi enter the operating room, where some kind of tin is happening, and immediately try to retreat. However, a medical zombie staff appears from behind. The headless doctor pounces on Kenzie and raises a scalpel, just as Hiragi kicks him. Then the surgeon jumps out of the operating room, but the future politician, like the hero of the Senons, prevails. He holds out his hand to a friend and promises that they will definitely survive together. Ritsu continues to admire the coolness of his real father. In the flashback, we are shown Candy on behalf of the eldest son, who remembered dad as an eternally drinking and sleeping man, which contrasts sharply with the gigachad in a suit Ring does not support, saying that it really sucks that the father is not even aware of the whole situation. To the question to your mother, why did you even marry a man like Candy? Misa replies that Hiragi left her. Anyone could have been a candidate for a husband, but Candy was very kind to her, and the girl was desperate. 30 minutes left to survive. The manager rejoices as the truth leaks out and declares that the end is near. And we return to the haunted house, where other families are being killed and where Hiragi throws opponents with his feet. Suddenly Candy stops and admits that his friend is cool. He admits that he is what he was and remains, and now he is ashamed that he is so useless. Kenzie says he's a bad father because he worked hard to make his family happy. And because of this, he did not pay much time and proper attention to the children. He says that despite this, he clearly remembers the moments that he spent with them. And in the end, he says that he was happy, despite the fact that these children are not from him. At this time, a whole bunch of monsters flies out of the darkness of the corridor, right at Hiragi, but Kenzie pushes him away. Exposing himself to the blow, he is knocked to the ground. Kenzie shouts to his friend to run away, because he has to live, get out of here with the children, and show them a better life than it was under Kenzie himself. His revelation, he knew that the children were not from him. And that's enough to make the monsters freeze in place. The guys are running away. Hiragi realizes that the discovery of the secret does not allow them to move. Then he asks how long his friend knew that he was not the father. Candy replies that from the very beginning, Veteritsu was not like him. Then he confirmed it with a DNA test. Hiragi apologizes to his friend for betraying him and promises that he will definitely take responsibility when they get out. There are 10 minutes left until the end, and then the manager announces the beginning of the general round. There are more monsters. A giant head doctor comes out. Rin says Daddy and Candy are clearly converted and is hopefully waiting for what happens next. Ritz is already deceiving himself by saying that he has no feelings for his father. Misa draws her son's attention to the fact that Candy was ready to sacrifice himself so that their real father would survive. She admits that she is completely confused about her feelings. She recalls that as soon as he found out about her pregnancy, Kenzie immediately gave up his dream of becoming a teacher, dropped out of college, and got a low-paying job. She says Dad has always fought desperately for his family, even if they are not his own children. Guys are running from the crowd as fast as they can. Suddenly, the head doctor breaks through the wall and blocks their way. He swings and hits Hiragi's shoulder, apparently knocking out the joint. The future politician says he has an idea. Then he says that Candy is a great friend who has always helped and asks for help from him for the last time. With these words, he pushes his friend towards the giant opponent with his foot. The monster grabs Candy by the neck and slams her into the wall. The rest of the Komi family is shocked by such betrayal. Hiragi, meanwhile, says he has always thought of Candy not as a friend, but as a tool. And the same thing he thought about the mission, which was problematic, and that's why he decided to leave it for him. Mocking, Hiragi hears a shout of his address from a former friend, "Don't you dare offend Misa." Even now, he says that Misa is the best thing that happened in his life. The future politician says that her face and body are so-so. Instead of running away, the traitor admits that he also would not want to lose his bride because she takes him into politics, and that she would not be so good if it were not for the connections of Kyoko's father. 2 minutes before the end, he throws Kenzie with the words that he should be a good bait if the monsters start moving. Children do not believe in what is happening. The monsters start moving again and rush the whole crowd at Kamiya Kenzie. In a second, he sees a strange picture where he is driving. The whole family is in shock. Misa went limp, starting to cry. 1 minute left. Hiragi heads to the exit, where Kyoko meets him. He tells her that she is the best thing that has ever happened to him and that he wants to be with her forever. But the woman heard his secret about the ticket to politics. And she already knew from her father that he had a lot of illegitimate children. But earlier she was ready to put up with it. Because she loves him. Kyoko stabs him. When the game ends, she's dead too. The manager announces that the next attraction will be the last. Actually, the family will survive in it alone. The one who recognizes happiness. Risio starts shouting at the rabbit, accusing them that they will never know happiness again because of his fault. The family is in disarray, the father is no more. The eldest son will not even be able to return to his former family now. The manager replies that to know true happiness is to know love for his family and to guarantee that after the last game, he will be able to experience this feeling. And then shows Kenzie, saying that their father is still alive. Everyone enters the last attraction. This is the Ferris wheel booth. The family is glad that Kenzie is fine. After learning that Hiragi died, his father says out loud that even if he took his place, he would not have become a real father. He is asked how he survived, and the head of the family says that he shouted his secret. An image of the manager appears in the booth, which explains the rules. They are simple. The family must make a unanimous decision. Which of them will die, sacrificing themselves for the sake of their relatives. Ritsu starts to get angry, but the manager calms him down, saying that their family is still good, offering to look at the others. The grandfather, who has no living relatives left, rejoices that the choice is low and his cabin falls down after the rabbit's words. That one person cannot be a family. The next family also falls because of their arguments. You have to die for the baby, and you have to die because you're trash. Kenzie says he is ready to sacrifice himself. Then Misa takes the floor, apologizing to the children for not telling the truth earlier, and says that now she realized that she was delighted with family life. She says it's her fault that things have turned out this way, and asks for an opportunity to make it up to her. Rixu replies that he lied and pretended all the time, not even realizing how much his parents appreciate him. Rin adds that he didn't make any effort either. The son suggests looking for other ways to survive. Then Candy reveals to them the last secret. He is the one who killed them all. In his flashback, we learn that the father of the family has cancer, and he has a year left to live. This news is starting to put pressure on him, because he has put his whole life to provide for a family. Children who are not even from him. But then he admits to himself that he loves them anyway and wants to protect them. Then he begins to be tormented by thoughts of who will protect them when he is gone. We find ourselves at the beginning of the manga when they were driving a car. There was something else between the family idol and arriving in pack. With thoughts of me being a bad father and shouting, the family should be together. Kenzie pressed the pedal to the floor and took off at the turn. The whole family immediately remembers it. The manager admits that everything is exactly like that. All of them are dead, but not completely, and this pack connects real and afterlife measures. In other words, this place is a kind of purgatory. He throws off a booth with another family, and then declares that those who win here will not just become free, but will also get a second chance at life. Komi Kenzie opens the booth and jumps down. Ritsu and the others catch his hand, and the eldest son asks his father not to die, stating that they will henceforth be honest with each other. Rin says that if it's about the disease, then he should not suffer alone. Misa says that he has always sacrificed himself for the sake of his family, and did not know that he was so bad. She apologizes for not helping her husband. When she says she doesn't want to lose him, Kenzie starts crying and says he has always loved his wife. He thanks his family for being with him and lets go of his son's hand. Be happy. Candy's last words. After he crashed, the manager removes the butterfly and says that his role is finally over. The whole family is recovering in the hospital. Everyone survived except Candy. Rizi makes sure that everything that happened was real because there was a burn on his hand from boiling oil. 6 months later, we see a family visiting the grave of their father. Misa promises that she will visit him more than once. Ritz is already making a promise that he will protect the family in his place. The last frames show us that the family has really changed, becoming happy and honest with each other. Finally, Misa asks her husband to continue to look after her. "Oh, I'll always look out for you, Misa," says the rabbit's head, sewn to the body of the father of the family. Well, let's save the next family. Kenzie, who became the next manager, goes out to new visitors, and thanks new families for visiting his park. In short, I like the manga. Of course, if you are waiting for the plot of the characters and philosophy to be worked out at the Berserker level, then you are unlikely to be satisfied. My recommendation is to always lower expectations, and I am sure that for the most part you will like such works. Well, if you have a predisposition to love bloody Torsheki, of course. After all, as a rule, such works do not last many volumes, and the authors have to sacrifice something to get a complete story. At the same time, The Dismemberment Park is a perfect example of a short story. It closes all the main questions, has a good twist, contains clear justifications, and at the same time, putting a bold end to the story, leaving the reader with questions about the fate of Kenzie. All the interactions of the characters are built in an excellent way, building a cycle of their personal rebirth through the passage of catharsis. Through the form of suffering and forced disclosure of their secrets, those who only pretended to be a family gradually become real. Yes, we can say that each of the family members is a bad person with shit behind his soul. But even if we cut off the fact that this is a literary device to show personal growth, still such behavior and such secrets breathe life into the characters, and their conflicts endow them with realism. After all, even though it is not customary to talk about it, let's be honest, such families really exist. And I don't think there are few of them. Families in which people married early, gave birth, sacrificed their dreams for the benefit of a new social unit, in which love has banally faded away, and which ultimately experiences only mental claustrophobia from the pressure of responsibilities. As if the phrase of the show must go on, they experience unhappiness or even hatred for each other, nevertheless, continuing to play their social roles. Manga brings to the surface and demonstrates family problems, and the fact that selfishness, envy, humility, and weakness lead to them on the front. Her main message, honesty and acceptance, is the key to happiness. Why the author decided to add classic European fairy tale creatures, I did not ask myself, but at the same time I noted that they fit in as well as possible within the narrative, especially considering how dark and cruel the stories of fairy tale collectors were, by the way. After them, any mangaka will seem an example of adequacy. As for the manager and the choice of an animal for him, then you can safely send Lewis Carroll to work. Alice in Wonderland. More than once, by the way, I noticed that mangaks like to cram this story into the foundation of their works. The first hint that works more natively is that the manager very often asks everyone to hurry up, and the white rabbit from Alice, as we remember, kept looking at his watch and was always in a hurry somewhere. Immediately, in addition, the phrase "follow the white rabbit" comes to mind, which can also be a hint, meaning that the words of the manager can be trusted, which is true because, as it turned out, the point of this whole game is to give a second life to the family that is more worthy of a second chance than others. A guide rabbit is a guide rabbit in purgatory that will help you escape. In ancient culture, the rabbit acts as a symbol of life, although I don't think it makes sense to dig deep. As for the drawing, it's very good here. In particular, the author has tried on cruelty, but despite the dismemberment, it is not perceived as repulsive. As in the same hotel of suffering. Yes, there is no way without it, because cruelty was supposed to show the consequences to visitors, and motivate them to start taking what is happening seriously, and to join the fight for the right to survive as quickly as possible. As for Kenzie, we understand that his path is over one way or another. Yes, in the last half, we see that he has become the next manager. But if we recall that in the middle of the manga, people were served a table where they were fed by the past manager, then we can conclude that they change every game, therefore he is there until the next family, a member of which will also sacrifice himself and become the next manager. I repeat, as for me, Manga is great. It is short, interesting, not overloaded, and in addition to telling an interesting story, it tries to convey some positive thoughts of the author to the reader. Share in the comments how you like the Dismemberment Pack. And also, I will be glad if you have something to add. Write your opinion in the comments, it will be very interesting to know. I have everything for today. I love everyone and for everyone so far.